let me ask you, Dr. Jones, about Jordan Peterson. You wrote something very interesting. You said, I suspect is Jordan Peterson's conscience, the ghosts of dead Palestinian children, confronted him and asked why he told Netanyahu to give them hell. Could you expand on that?
Yeah.
What led you to make that observation?
Well, okay, so October 7th happens. First of all, let's take back Jordan Peterson. He's a Canadian professor who's influenced by C.G. Jung, who was a disciple of Sigmund Freud and talks about archetypes. Not a broad base to base your whole philosophy on, but that's who he is. And then he becomes famous, largely because he was anointed by the David Brooks wrote an article called The Jordan Peterson Moment in the New York Times. He anointed him as the great thinker of our time. Well, he wasn't adequate. He wasn't a deep thinker. Okay? And so he went, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I wrote a book called Logos Rising. Okay? Next thing I know, Jordan Peterson shows up in Ephesus and he's going to talk about Logos. I'm going to be honest with you. He was there to co-opt my book, Logos Rising. Okay, so he stands up there before the Library of Celsus in Ephesus, and he doesn't know what to say. He gets it completely wrong. He can't distinguish between St. John's use of the word logos and Hesiod, who said in the beginning there was chaos. He gets it completely wrong. He's stuttering, looking at his cell phone. So he didn't have the depth. Then October 7th happens, and he makes the fatal mistake of tweeting Netanyahu saying, give him hell. And then Ben Shapiro posts a picture of theirs, Jordan Peterson shaking hands with Netanyahu, with Ben Shapiro, and grinning in the background. Did you look at your hand after you did that, Jordan? Was there blood on your hands? Because I think that's what happened here. He said, give him hell. And we all have a conscience. And suddenly did he understand what the future was going to bring? The next 2 years, the genocide in Gaza, those innocent children, women and children being murdered by the Israelis. Did he see? No, he didn't see that in the future. But now it's burdening his conscience. And I think he just cracked under the pressure. I don't think it was mold. That's what his daughter said. It's mold. No, I have allergies too, but I don't burst into tears, which is what he was doing at every podcast. He got the money. He went for the money. He got big money from the Daily Wire. He was going to be the next, the great man of this era, the great thinker. He wasn't adequate to the task. He sold his soul to the devil, and now he had blood on his hands, and I think he just cracked under the pressure.
Wow. Are you familiar, Dr. Jones, with Cyrus Scofield?
Yes. Yes, the Scofield Bible.
That was what I was going to ask you. What can you tell us about Cyrus Scofield, his Bible? And do you think this is one of the main reasons Christians like Jordan Peterson and others would say such evil things like give him hell because of the teachings, the footnotes that are in there and the teachings of people like John El-Sadarvi, connecting it to the Scofield Bible?
No, I think he went for the money. I don't think he was influenced. That's Christian Zionism. He's not a Christian. He wouldn't even tell us if he believed in God. So he's not going to be influenced by the Scofield Bible. Okay. That's the whole group. That's the Huckabee crowd. These are the people. They are not intellectuals. Okay, that's probably why they're influenced by this Bible. But let's take a step back. What is the fundamental problem here? The fundamental problem is the Reformation. I don't know whether you have Protestants there. Okay, great. I'm going to talk to them because the fundamental 3 pillars of the Reformation, sola fide, by faith alone, sola gratia, by grace alone, and sola scriptura, the scripture alone has our authority. That is a fundamental problem that began with Luther and continues to this day. So what am I talking about? Luther says, my interpretation of the Bible has more authority than the Pope in Rome. Not true. Jesus Christ founded a church. The church wrote the Bible. Jesus Christ founded the church. Okay? So he used it to justify his break with Rome. You hand that Bible to an Englishman and he will use it to justify killing the king, which is exactly what Oliver Cromwell did in the 1640s in England, because he read the Bible When they read the Bible, they go to the Old Testament, they look at the Bible, and this is the story of Gideon. I'm Gideon. I'm the guy who's leading the Hebrews to the promised land. Anybody I don't like is Amalek, and I have the right to exterminate them, which is what Cromwell did to the Irish Catholics who were hiding out in the cathedral in Drogheda. Okay, fast forward to present day. Netanyahu gives a speech in Hebrew. Guess what he says? He's Gideon. Guess who Amalek is now? It's the Palestinians. So I'm saying this doctrine of sola scriptura will undermine any legitimate authority and justify any genocide, which is what is happening today. Netanyahu's doing it, the same thing.